Here we have Cam Yu, Editor-in-Chief of the magazine Culture. We are in the Sinsin Gallery in the Sheung Wan district in the heart of Hong Kong. Cam, what makes China unique when it comes to art, film, literature, culture?
What makes China really unique in terms of its creative productivity is its own cultural legacy. In China, we have a long history of art, of course, because of history and because of many periods of turmoil. There were gaps in that creative history. But throughout China's creative productivity, you would see that Chinese artists are always looking to their past when it comes to interpreting the present and the future. With any Chinese art that is produced in China, you would always see that the Chinese are trying to make sense of what is happening in their own lives today by interpreting what has happened before and what they think is going to happen in the future.
In Sweden at the moment, it's a lot of focus on Ai Weiwei and Nobel Prize winner Mo Yan. Surely there must be plentiful of interesting artists and writers in China that the Western world have overseen.
Not that the world has overseen, it's just that these two artists are getting the news because deservedly they are making big news for different reasons. With Ai Weiwei and the problems that he is having with the government, with Mo Yan, with the accolades that he's receiving both from inside and outside of China, they deserve the press. However, it is true there are many artists that are deserving of press, but the interesting thing is that they're a quieter, softer generation of artists who are creating, who are producing, and although maybe the outside world has not heard of these artists yet, they are well known in China. There's actually too many to actually name.
Which are the main art and culture hubs in China, except from Beijing and Shanghai?
Well, of course, Shanghai and Beijing are already recognized cultural hubs in China, but there are many secondary cities and smaller cities that are developing their own arts and culture in China. Any of the secondary cities in China you can name, and there are very many. I would say that Hong Kong is one of the main cultural hubs also in China. Although very often Hong Kong is spoken of apart from China, we are part of China, of course. However, because of its unique history and its unique economy, Hong Kong is developing into an arts and cultural hub in a way that is very unique. For example, we are sitting here in Sinsin Gallery, a gallery that was started 14 years ago by Sinsin, who's also an artist. And 14 years ago, there wasn't a lot going on when it came to visual arts. Now there's over 100 galleries, private galleries in Hong Kong that are operating, and more coming on board all the time. One of the main reasons for that is our freedom here in Hong Kong. We are free to speak, we are free to represent, we are free to present. And so one of the main reasons that a lot of galleries have opened up here in Hong Kong is that they're able to hang artwork without any fear of reprisal. They do not have to fear that someone will shut down their gallery because the art is provocative or perhaps offending to a government official. They can sell their work freely here. They can represent any artist they want without restrictions. And that has created a unique environment for the developments of arts and culture in Hong Kong.
In China, what does it take for an artist to be considered provocative?
I think if you want to be provocative as a Chinese artist, you do have to do some jail time, or you have to offend the government in some way. I mean, as soon as that happens, all of a sudden the artist is renowned for being provocative.
Visiting bookshops in China and in Hong Kong, it's absolutely packed with Swedish detective stories like Henning Mankell, Stig Larsson, Lisa Marklund. Lars Nyttve, the Swedish curator, will be head of one of the biggest museums here in Hong Kong. What's the view in China and Hong Kong when it comes to Sweden and Swedish culture?
I think the Chinese have a huge admiration for Swedish people and the Swedish culture and the Swedish society as a whole. When I think I look at Sweden and the amazing accomplishments of your creative people as well as your economy, there's many things to admire. I think with Swedish products and design, you have superior quality, superior standards, and that is internationally recognized, and I think it is something that the Chinese would like to emulate.
So you could say there's a growing demand in China to get in contact with Swedish art and culture and design.
China would love to have more contact with Swedish culture and Swedish art. Definitely a nation that I think we all really admire and hope to aspire to become more of.
In the 70s and 80s, you had a lot of kung fu films coming out of Hong Kong. On the film scene, what's happening now in Hong Kong and in China?
Well, the film scene, I think, is much stronger in Beijing and in China. Although there is censorship, there are amazing productions coming out of China. Some of the best productions actually are some of the mini-series that I actually developed in Beijing. I remember buying one such mini-series for my family, and it was a 95-episode mini-series about one of the Chinese dynasties. And it was an amazing story. So not only in movies, but in television and in miniseries, things that are being produced on the mainland are very entertaining, a high production quality, excellent writing. So that is really interesting.
As a Swedish professional in the museum scene, next time I visit China, what should I not miss?
If you can do it, do not miss the Terracotta Warrior exhibition in Xi'an. It is so significant in a way that encompasses not only the history of China, but you also have the ability to see what China is trying to do with some of its artifacts. It is a monumental effort in Xi'an, something that may not be finished in our lifetime because there is so much that they need to do.
Okay, thank you so much.